Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new update video. Yes, EU4 is getting another update patch. There are still lingering doubts on when we might hear about EU5 or for how long EU4 will get updates. But that's all in the distant future. We have an upcoming update for Southeast Asia and I'm super excited about it. The whole Southeast Asia region has been a bit lackluster, especially since India got a significant update with Dharma and Maine got upgrades in the Manchu patch. So after the huge European update, the devs have decided to look at Southeast Asia. We don't have confirmation yet if this is a free patch or a DLC though. We have 8 new dev diaries to review on the region update, so let's get into it and see what the changes are all about. First of all, we have the map of Indochina region. The region has been reworked as seen on this side-by-side comparison. Although Burma region has not seen any rework in this new upcoming patch, new provinces have been added to Indochina and the overall development of the region has been increased. We also have a new impassable terrain separating Vietnam and Laos area, which could be used for some tactical maneuvering. Moving a little south, we have a map rework of maritime Southeast Asia as well. All the sea tiles surrounding the area are now considered inland seas, so galleys will be stronger here, and this reflects the naval history of the area. The Malay Peninsula and Sumatra have changed the most here. We can see a few new provinces and smattering of new tags. Malacca no longer holds all of Peninsula. We have new tags of Sultanate of Kelantan and the Kingdom of Pahang. By the way, if it wasn't obvious by now, I'm going to butcher a lot of names here, so I apologize in advance. Pronunciations are not my strong suit. One of the strong suits I do have is having a secure internet connection with a VPN like Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is the leading no-log VPN service. It's been around since 2010 and I have been personally using it for a few years now to browse the internet anonymously. Private Internet Access encrypts my connection and so everything I do online, my passwords, my payment information are always safe and protected. In fact, Private Internet Access VPN is almost always on my PC. I also use it on my Android phone from time to time. This VPN also has dedicated apps from Mac, iOS, Amazon Fire Stick, Linux, and more with simultaneous connection for up to 10 devices. The app itself is seamless with access to 10,000 servers in 70 countries. It also has a kill switch button for when you want to ensure your privacy is protected. You can use the VPN service to unblock regional services such as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, among others. You can get the secure Private Internet Access VPN service today for a 77% discount using the link in description. Plus, you get 3 months for free and you can use multiple options for payment in PayPal, Bitcoin, gift cards, and more. With 30 days money back guarantee, it is definitely worth trying. Thank you Private Internet Access VPN for sponsoring this video. And let's get back to the new Southeast Asia tags. On the island of Sumatra, we have 4 tags in 1444. With the new update, we will now have 9 total tags. The Sultanate of Aceh at the northern tip, which was historically important as it facilitated the spread of Islam in Southeast Asia. The Hindu and Buddhist nations of Baras, Pagaruyung, and Indrapura. On the eastern side, we have the Sunni nations of Delhi, Siak, and Jambi. And Palembang now has 3 provinces. And yes, you can still play as Pirates of Palembang. Also, you might have noticed the central part of Ireland is impassable now, so having strong navies is even more important in the region. Another change that wasn't mentioned in the dev diaries is that now we only have 1 province on the island that isn't colonized, which could have an impact on how the Europeans influence the nations here. Earlier, my strategy was always to colonize the province on the southern tip first, so I had free access to both Sumatra and Java island nations. This change isn't a big deal, but it's certainly going to be a bit restrictive for European influence in the region. Moving on to the island of Java, where we have Sunda and Majapahit. In 1.31, we will have more provinces on the island and 2 additional tags, 1 province minors, Blambangan and Bali. Both these new tags start as tributaries to Majapahit. For rest of the maritime Southeast Asia, the island of Borneo, which has Brunei and Kutai in the current patch, will get 3 additional tags, the Hindu nations of Samba, Birao, and Banjar. And again, there are less provinces to colonize here now, so it will be interesting to see how the European influence on Southeast Asia changes in the new patch. The Sulawesi Islands, which currently have Luwu, Makassar, and Buton, will see some rework with restructuring of provinces and a new tag of Bone, while the Spice Islands of Tidore and Ternate have not changed. Instead, they get a new trade good in Cloves. Cloves will have a trade value of 8, which is double the highest value trade goods we have currently, except coal. Cloves will also give a plus 20% province trade power modifier and a plus 5% trade efficiency for trading bonus. So cloves are going to be most powerful trade good at the start of the game, and getting them is going to be a priority for almost everyone. Next, let's look at some of the individual nations that have changed in 1.31. Ayutthaya is one of the stronger nation starts in this region. They already start with Sukhothai and Ligoris vassals, and now there's an event where you can inherit Sukhothai when the starting king dies. Ayutthaya national ideas have been completely revamped as well. Earlier ideas were okay, but they didn't have a clear purpose. The new idea set is focused on vassal play, and we will see this theme of vassal play with a lot of new nation changes. That's why I'm calling this patch the Subjugation patch. The new idea set has Liberty Desire modifier, deploy next cost, vassal income, improved relations, steering us towards vassal play rather strongly. Not only that, the new Ayutthayan mission tree gives us a few subjugation CBs, so you can now vassalize large nations in one war. It's going to make for an interesting playthrough. We don't know the full details on each mission yet, and we will go through them when the update is out. We do have some snippets though. It seems the leftmost branch is more about development, the rightmost branch is about controlling the spice trade. There are a few subjugation CVs in the middle. The Devraja mission will give us no religious penalties from Dharmic provinces. The Royal Absolutism will give a new tier 1 government reform, the Chakravarti government, which gives us empire rank, plus 10 max absolutism, and plus 1 monarch admin points, which looks pretty strong. The two final missions are not seen here. They deal with Ming and claiming the mandate of heaven. We also see a mission about CME's revolution, which is also a new disaster. It will trigger when Ayutthaya has good relations with a European power, and you can choose to go either open or reactionary through a series of events. And depending on which way you go, you will get some modifiers. And we will look at this in detail again when the patch comes out. Majapahit now starts with 4 tributary states, and it seems there's a new change to tributary mechanic as well, where now any nation with Chinese tech group can have tributaries, which is basically all of China, Indochina, and Southeast Asia. In the current patch, it's limited to Eastern Religious Group, Hordes, and Emperor of China. Majapahit also starts with a disaster now, where we lose 5 stab, 50 legitimacy, and we get plus 15% all power cost, which just sounds terrible. It will definitely make for a challenging start. This disaster can collapse the whole nation with new event spawned nations. However, all this can be managed with the new Majapahit mission tree. The top part of the tree deals with the starting disaster. The right side missions are common to all island nations here, focusing on trade goods. There's the Chakravarti mission, which is the same we saw in Ayutthaya and gives the new government reform. Then there's the Enforced Loyalty mission, which is an even more powerful subjugation CB. Well, let me just quote from the dev diary itself. Quote, "Mission tree does not award permanent claims with one notable exception, and even subjugation CBs against specific countries. Instead, the Enforced Loyalty mission unlocks the unique Majapahit campaign CB, which functions similarly to the subjugation CB but has no time limit, a war score cost discount of only 25%, and can be used against any nation in the Malay culture group." End quote. So more free subjugation CBs, and it doesn't end there. This CB is further upgraded with missions where you can later subjugate anyone in the Chinese culture group, and much later, the dev diary says for the final time, allowing the CB to be used without restrictions. Which sounds insane to me, because if I'm reading it correctly, the no restrictions means we can subjugate any nation in the world? It's definitely going to be a lot of fun to play Majapahit in the new patch. I don't really care if it's balanced or not, it's going to be fun to play. Majapahit also has a new set of national ideas, which is more focused on vassal play obviously, and navy and trade. To be honest, this idea set looks decent from how Majapahit is going to be played. By the way, if you want to read everything in detail and look at the idea sets and whatnot, go read the dev diaries. I will leave a link in description. In this video, I'm trying to cover the most relevant parts, and I might not go over everything. Let's look at Khmer next. Khmer also starts with a disaster with -2 stab, -25 prestige, and plus 25% to all power cost. These disasters are dreadful, and I love it. I love all flavor changes, especially the ones that make the game a bit more challenging. The disaster can be dealt with in the new mission tree. Later, the second Golden Age mission gives minus 25% power cost and minus 33% culture conversion cost for 20 years, which is so OP when used at the right time. And obviously, if you're playing an expansionist campaign, you will use this mission late game for large scale coring, and the culture conversion bonus if you're going for one culture. And again, with this mission tree, you get a few subjugation CBs, obviously. The new Malaccan mission tree looks big and it's shared by other Malay nations. The red part in this tree is for the individual nation, Malacca in this case. The green and blue are for all Malay culture nations, and the purple is after you form Malaya. The mission tree for Malacca is full of subjugation CBs, unsurprisingly, as that's what this patch seems to be all about. You also get the special Majapahit like subjugation CBs later for all nations in the Malay culture group, so even more vassals. One important thing to note here is that Malacca doesn't start as a Ming tributary now, which is a big change, and I think now playing as an Indian nation or even Europeans, you can take over Malacca fairly early, giving you that boost in Southeast Asia trade. The new Malaccan idea set is focused on vassal play along with trade and naval. The idea set isn't super strong really. Ayutthaya mission tree is interesting. It's focused on spreading of religion, and you get a special CB to force convert any neighboring heathen nation, which is completely useless if you're playing a normal game, but it makes for a very interesting roleplay opportunity. You could challenge yourself to convert the whole world without going full expansionist. And I really hope there's a new achievement for this one. Ayutthaya also gets a new idea set. It has a missionary strength bonus and missionary maintenance modifier, which I don't understand the need for it, because if you have a CB that force converts other nations, why do you need conversion modifiers? It does have tech discount and province war score cost discount, which are really helpful. The formation of Malaya requirements have changed as well. Now it requires owning at least 40 provinces in the Malaya or Indonesia regions, as well as several specific provinces. When you form Malaya, you will get a choice to rename the nation to Malaya or Nusantara, a more localized name. And if you have the Srivijaya dynasty, you can name it Srivijaya. This is just a cosmetic name change, by the way, similar to the ones we saw with the Kingdom of God and the Caliphate in the 1.30 patch. Going to Vietnam next, we have a new mission tree shared by all nations in the region. And of course, we get more subjugation CBs, because why not? Defy Ming mission gives you an opportunity to take Ming down. If they are in a disaster, you get a free vassal and tank mandate even further, allowing for easier expansion into mainland China. The Purchase Western Arms mission gives minus 30% artillery cost and plus 10% siege ability, which I don't need to tell you how strong that is. With the Ming mission, I think you can just blitz through China and blob out very fast. There's also a new disaster, the Northern and Southern dynasties, which you can curtail by completing the top 4 missions. Pegu also got a new mission tree which is focused on expanding the Mon culture, as the history of Mon people is significant in the region. From the mission tree you get some development missions, some trade ones, and of course more subjugation CBs. This time though, if you vassalize these nations, their culture changes to Mon. You also get some culture conversion bonuses, and Pegu also gets some new flavor events. Sukhothai starts with a small mission tree, and they get an event early on where you can become independent and you get part of Ayutthaya as a vassal, which seems like a pretty solid start. The Shan culture nations also get a couple of missions. Completing one of them forms Shan, integrates all other Shan nations, and you get a perma claim on all provinces with Shan culture. And of course, subjugation CB on Ava, because we can't have a mission tree without subjugation CBs. Lanshang also got a small mission tree update where you get, you guessed it, more subjugation CBs, this time on diaries, Khmer, and Ayutthaya. And with the new Sunda mission tree, you can focus on religion. As a Hindu nation, you can either convert to Sunni with the missions or get extra missionary strength, some development missions, and subjugation CBs on all of Sumatra. The mission tree for Ternate and Tidore gives colonization and trade bonuses, not surprising. And finally, we have a new idea set for Siam and Malaya, both formable nations. Malaya is focused on trade and naval mostly, so it's good if you just want to chill and roleplay Malaya. It's not great for expansion gameplay though. Siam, on the other hand, has the best updated idea set in the new patch. With morale, manpower modifier, discipline, tech cost, idea cost, absolutism, and other bonuses, Siam definitely seems like a good target to form, starting as any nation in Indochina region. And that is the bulk of changes in the upcoming Southeast Asia update. I want to quickly touch on few more changes that I found interesting. There's this new government reform of stateless society which is available for the new animist tribes. Stateless society gives plus 15 morale, plus 75% fort defense, and minus 99% governing capacity. So you start with strong armies and forts, but you can't really expand. It's a head scratcher, but I love it. I really like the ingenuity here, and I think it will be a fun one to play. They also reformed to peasant republics via government reforms, so I'm really looking forward to playing it. I think it will make for a very interesting playthrough. There's also a new province modifier of Emerald Buddha, which gives prestige and karma if you control the province. I think it's a nice little flavor update. There are some culture changes as well. Khmer is now a separate culture group. Vietnamese is part of Chinese culture group, which makes expanding into China as Diaries even easier. And there's also a new culture of Sunda. There are also some minor religion changes. We can see more animist provinces here and some changes to Theravada and Sunni in the Malay Peninsula. The Siam trade good is no longer a starting node, which is a big change. Now the trade from Canton and Burma will flow into Siam. So Siam trade node went from being one of the worst ones to a fairly powerful one. If you form Siam, you can really hold on to a lot of trade power from China and Southeast Asia in general. Apart from these changes, there are also some new interesting estate privileges and government reforms. I won't go into details for those right now. We will explore them when the patch comes out, but if you're curious, you should definitely check out the dev diaries. They go into much more detail and they have some cool historical context for the changes. I'll leave a link in description. So, to summarize this whole Southeast Asia update, it's subjugation. Really though, I like the changes so far. I know vassal play isn't for everyone, but I think it's neat that for people who like playing with vassals can now focus on this region and really explore the vassal side of EU4. And of course, I always love the flavor changes. Plus, a couple of nations such as Diaries and Siam look really strong, so that's going to be fun to explore as well. And yes, the stateless society is bonkers. I like the experimentation there. And that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this summary video for the upcoming patch. Devs have also teased some significant changes to North American tribe mechanics, which I'm super excited to see, and I will cover them in a future video once we know what all the changes are. Till then, you're watching a Raiders Guide. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you all in the next one.